So let us start with this presentation. And the question that we are discussing is why countries promote inbound migration, especially the skilled migration program. Now, migration is a vast topic, and migration has happened throughout the history for various reasons. For example, 10,000 years back, when Sahara Desert, which was previously having a lot of greenery, turned into desert, that time many people migrated from Egypt to various other locations. Migration during wars and genocide, especially during World War II, is very common. For example, a lot of Jews left Europe and migrated to America. Today in Afghanistan, the situation is very bad, and many people from Afghanistan are trying to migrate to America or to Europe because of the fear of Taliban. However, we are not discussing that topic. What point I'm going to discuss is why a country like Singapore is open for inbound migration. What are the driving factors, especially for skilled migration? Now, throughout Asia, people want to come here to Singapore and they want to work here, settle here. But the question is why Singapore is really accepting it. Now, before I proceed ahead with this presentation, one thing that I want to clarify is that whatever I'm presenting here are my views. These are not the views of any government agency or any authority in this matter. So let's move ahead. And the first part we need to understand is that Singapore's TFR, total fertility rate, is very low at 1.14. So total fertility rate means children born per woman. So in Singapore, 1.14 children are born per woman. I'll go to website now, and this is a Wikipedia page which is showing the total fertility rate by countries. And if I come down to this table and I sort it in the from lowest to upward, you will notice Singapore rank 196th. So it is the fifth country from below in terms of fertility rate. So coming back to our presentation, what it means in practical terms is as follows. If we presume that Singapore local population is 4 million, then the children in this population will have the number of children those will be born in coming period for this population will be 4 million divided by 2, because out of this 4 million, half of the population will be of women. So we divide it by 2 and multiply by 1.14. That means the total number will be 2.280 million. That is going to be the next generation of this population. And that simply means in 70 to 80 years from now, or maybe slightly less, this 4 million population will get reduced to 2.28 million. And that is a very bleak situation, to be frank. Now let's have further look at some of the population statistics. I am now going to access my Excel file. So this Excel file I have downloaded from Singapore government's official statistics department. And it shows as of 2020 the local resident population, which includes permanent resident as well as citizens, is around 4.044 million, and it has been bifurcated by age group like this. So what I have done here two sections of 30 years each. So this green section represents people from 0 to 29 years of age, and the next section is from 30 to 60 years of age. So I presume these are the people 30 to 60 years are the people who are primarily working today, and 0 to 29 will be slowly entering into workforce from the age of 30 onwards and will start working. If I take the sum of people for this orange batch, that is the people who are currently in workforce, it comes to 1.81 million. And if I calculate it same for the first 30 years, that is 0 to 30 years of age, it is 1.33 million. So if you understand it correctly, over the next 30 years, these 1.8 million people will retire from workforce. and new 1.33 million people will enter into workforce. So there is already a reduction of almost 27% because the new population that is going to enter is only 73% of the retiring one. And mind well, this is happening on the backdrop when the economy is growing. Let's move on to the next worksheet. And again, I'm referring to same data, but I'm going to concentrate on this data series of first 30 years. You will notice that the people who are in the age group of 25 to 29 are 286,000. The next batch, younger batch, 20 to 24 years old, is 244,000. 15 to 19 is 215. 10 to 14 is 206, 198, 183. And you will see a falling pattern here. Every year, the number of people, the number of babies born falls by every 5 years, almost by 30 to 40,000. We can quickly calculate it here and we can see what is the reduction. So in this middle period, it has been slightly lower and then further it has fallen by a significant margin. So while the total fertility rate is 1.14 as of now, there is a further reduction or there is a further trend of falling births in Singapore. Now moving on to the next worksheet, again we refer to the same data and we look it at a different way. So 50 to 59 years old, 305,830 people are going to retire. I mean, all of them are not necessarily working, but for the sake of understanding, we presume they are working. So this 305,830 people are going to retire from the job. They are going to go out of workforce. And this number will be replaced. So I'm going to copy this number here. And new 286,000 people will join the workforce in next 5 years who are currently in the age bracket of 25 to 29. So if I calculate this difference, the number of people coming to 86 minus number of people going out is 305. That means in next 5 years, there is a shortfall of 18,000 people. And this situation aggravates with passage of time. Today's 0 to 4 years of population, which is likely to enter workforce after 25 years, this number 183,076, it will be replacing today's 30 to 34 group, which is at 297. That means when these people are replaced, there is going to be a shortfall of 114,722 people in the workforce. So the primary reason behind the drive for immigration for any country is generally the dwindling population statistics. Now there are some other factors also on which we will have a look. One of the good things in Singapore is that economy is growing. So this is the chart which I got from World Bank website, and it shows from 2010 to 2020 or 21 how the economy grew. So we will not consider here 2020 because of Corona. Instead, we will refer to 2019 bar. So if you consider in 2010, the economy size was 280 billion and it grew to almost 375 billion in 2019. There is a 40% growth in a decade. So now you are in a situation where your population is falling down, but economy is growing. And what has happened is in this last 20 years or last 10 years, Singapore has become even more attractive place. And what that means is the growth is even accelerating. See, 10 years back, there was no practice of easily going or coming to Singapore and setting your own business. Today, the world is moving towards a one place concept. For a person in India, incorporating his company in Singapore, relocating here, starting his startup here, is not something really dream. I mean, they really think that it will happen and they really try for it. And this is happening throughout Asia. Major companies from Asia want to relocate to Singapore. There are many multinationals who have opened their offices in Singapore. Every small startup wants their office in Singapore. So we get inquiries where people want to come here and do some startup, and that those offices are like 10, 20 people offices maximum. There are 3,000 fintech startups alone registered in last 3 years, and majority of this fintech, while they are registered in Singapore, their focus is on Asia Pacific region. So they are doing something in Indonesia, they are doing something for remittance services in Philippines, and so on. And the last point here is when this is happening, talent requirements are even further diverse. If you recall, there was a video called Did You Know? And two of the statements in that were that top 10 in demand jobs in 2010 did not exist in 2004. And new technologies are invented every year. So this is true. This is what is happening around us. Now, for a country where only 50,000 new births happen every year, it is not easy to satisfy such a diverse requirement. For example, take case of fintech. 7 years back, I don't even think I have heard this name fintech. The word became very prominent in last 4 years, and today there are 3,000 startups. And these startups requires programmers, project managers, ability to interact with banks. So you need managers who are from that domain, ability to interact with insurance companies. So you need managers who can interact in insurance sector. And now if you tell a country or policy makers that we need these kind of people, they cannot reconfigure at a fly and then suddenly give you so many people with these kind of skills. So, in summary, these are the primarily driving factors why small countries like Singapore accept inbound migration.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel today. PR Application is a leading immigration consultancy company in Singapore.